Hello and welcome to Code Football. Pep Guardiola is regarded one of the best managers in football history, and a coach that has a huge influence on football's tactics. In this video we look at the top innovations of his coaching career. The 6-second rule. Guardiola's Barcelona were famed for their devastating, possession-based attacking football, but his most significant innovation at the Nou Camp actually concerned their approach without the ball. Guardiola wanted to increase the speed at which his players regained possession after losing it. He saw it as a way of snuffing out counter-attacks and catching Barcelona's opponents out of position, and his solution was to introduce the 6-second rule. The idea was to recover the ball with a 6-second burst of high-intensity pressing. The nearest Barcelona players were instructed to rush towards the individual in possession, with the rest of the team moving closer together to form a tightly organized defensive shape. The technique was designed to close down passing options and force an immediate mistake from the opposition, and in the event that Barcelona failed to win the ball back in 6 seconds, their compact positioning would make it difficult for the opposition to break them down. Guardiola used the same approach at Bayern Munich and Manchester City, where he once described defensive organization as the cornerstone of his philosophy, while Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool have employed similar tactics in the Premier League. Messi as a false nine. No player was more important to Guardiola's extraordinary success at Barcelona than Lionel Messi. The Argentine was already an established first-teamer when Guardiola took over from Frank Rijkaard in 2008, but Guardiola unlocked his true potential with a simple positional shift. Guardiola struck upon the idea the night before Barcelona's title-deciding Clásico against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in May 2009. Pep noticed how much pressure the Madrid midfielders Guti, Fernando Gago, and Royston Drenthe put on his own players, Xavi and Yaya Toure, wrote Martí Perarnau in Pep Confidential. He also noticed the tendency of the central defenders, Cannavaro and Metz-Elder, to hang back near Iker Casillas' goalmouth. This left a vast expanse of space between them and the Madrid midfielders, a vast, empty space. Guardiola decided to unleash Messi in that space as a false nine. The story goes that he summoned the Argentine to his office late that night to explain the idea, and the next day the plan came into effect when Messi swapped positions with Samuel Eto'o after 10 minutes at the Bernabeu. The strategy worked perfectly and Barça destroyed Real Madrid, winning by 6-2, added Perarnau. Messi had become a false number 9 and Pep was happy. From that day to this, Guardiola has stuck to this system. Positional changes. Messi is not the only player to have been reinvented by Guardiola. Javier Mascherano became a world-class central defender under his guidance at Barcelona, and at Bayern Munich it only took him a few pre-season friendlies to decide that right-back Philipp Lahm would make a brilliant holding midfielder. Have you seen how well Lahm anticipates the next pass? Guardiola is quoted as saying in Pep Confidential. Have you seen how he turns and protects the ball? He can play on the wing or in the middle of the field. Sure enough, Lahm became Bayern's answer to Sergio Busquets. He understands the game, said Guardiola. Not all players do. Philipp can play in all positions. Football is a game where people move and you have to decide in 1 second what's going on in your position, as well as all around the field. What he decides in that moment is right. Guardiola saw similar adaptability Lahm's Bayern teammate in David Alaba, who played in all kinds of different positions. Preseason training with a twist. Preseason training is typically associated with grueling fitness regimes and punishing bleep tests, but in the summer of 2013, Bayern Munich's players discovered that Guardiola likes to do things rather differently. There is no jogging, no long sprints, no weightlifting, writes Perarnau in Pep Confidential. They do not do any circuit training and there is no single exercise that focuses on athleticism. In fact, all that awaits the players as they arrive is a mountain of footballs. Guardiola eschews the usual methods to focus on improving his players' technical skill, and it is therefore unsurprising that his players have been filmed doing ball work and taking part in rondos very often. Striker Kaleki Ihinako has admitted it's a different way of training to what the City squad are used to. He's bringing fresh thoughts and his own style, he told Sky Sports. Everything is different and everyone is adapting to what he's teaching us. We need to understand what he's telling us and what he wants to bring to the team. Formation flexibility. Guardiola used a host of different formations during his time at Bayern Munich. He primarily used a 4-3-3 formation at Barcelona, but at Bayern Munich he showed unrivaled flexibility and proved he is not wedded to a particular setup. At Manchester City he has used mainly the 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1 formations. The Catalan has become famous for tailoring his formation based on his opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and at Bayern he would often change things up several times during the course of a single match. In the Bundesliga, Bayern lined up in many different formations. A 4-1-4-1 shape was the most commonly used, but Guardiola also used 4-2-3-1, 3-4-3 and 3-1-4-2, among others. The Catalan micromanages his players incessantly from the touchline, barking orders and making constant positional changes. It is for that reason that Guardiola treasures tactically intelligent players like Lam, Mascherano, and Thomas Muller. He expects his charges to be able to switch between different systems instantly and without difficulty. Tikitaka. Tikitaka is founded upon team unity and a comprehensive understanding in the geometry of space on a football field. Pep Guardiola's example of Tikitaka at FC Barcelona is considered the best application of this style after Barcelona won the sextuple in 2009. Barcelona played with a high defensive line, usually applying the offside trap with midfielders providing support to defenders to make more passing options available. Defenders are patient, preferring safe pass options, looking for midfielders with the ball circulated anywhere on the pitch waiting for a gap to make a vertical pass. The team created most of chances depending on through balls and performing give and go pass, usually with Lionel Messi involved in action. Guardiola preferred freedom in the final third of the pitch, which was effective as the team created many chances per match. Inverted fullbacks. Inverted fullbacks are used when the wingers like to cut inside. They move the ball centrally and slot themselves as the third midfielder when having the possession of the ball. Pep Guardiola introduced this style of play. It was done to get better structure in the midfield and for the winger to have the freedom to cut inside. Philipp Lahm was used firstly as an inverted fullback by the man himself, Pep Guardiola. The inverted fullbacks help the creative midfielders to play with freedom. They support the line of attack. It gives them the freedom to play between the opponent's midfield line and defense line to supply the ball to the attackers and wingers. They play in a zone where the opponent's defense has to think twice before pressing or hold the line. The inverted fullback protects the counter-attacks from taking place. The inverted fullbacks sit kindly ahead of the two center-backs and number 6. This brings balance into the team with having 5 in the attacking unit and 5 in the defending unit.